1 acre. That's all you need for free food all year long, and I'm about to show you the exact layout that makes it possible. Most people think you need massive farmland to feed your family. They're dead wrong. With the right setup, a single acre can produce more food than a family of 4 can eat in 12 months. But here's what nobody tells you. It's not about how much land you have. It's about how you use every single square foot. And there's one specific layout that changes everything. I discovered this after watching my neighbor harvest thousands of dollars worth of food from his tiny plot, while I struggled to grow a few tomatoes on twice the space. When I asked him his secret, what he showed me blew my mind. This isn't just gardening. This is food independence. While grocery prices skyrocket and supply chains collapse, you'll be walking into your backyard for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But here's the catch. This layout only works if you get 3 things exactly right. Miss even one, and you'll end up with empty beds and an empty stomach. The families using the system are saving $8,000 a year on groceries. Some are even making money selling their surplus. So here's the question that could change your life. What if you never had to worry about food prices again? Alex remembers that first year, standing in the middle of a half-acre garden, certain that more space meant more food. But by July, weeds had swallowed half the beds, the chickens were penned far from the house, and the best sunlit patch was covered in grass that nobody touched. It's a story that plays out across the country, and the numbers prove it. 68% of small-acre homesteaders set their garden beds at the wrong angle for sunlight. Nearly half, 44%, put their chicken coops or livestock runs in spots that make daily care a chore, or worse, keep valuable manure too far from the compost pile. And 72% let grass grow wild and unused, wasting ground that could have fed a flock or built up next year's soil. These aren't just minor mistakes. When beds face the wrong way, winter harvests collapse. When livestock are too far from the action, eggs go uncollected, manure piles up where it can't help, and feed costs spiral. Idle grass isn't just a missed opportunity for grazing, it's a sign that the land isn't working for you at all. The truth is, most failed homesteads don't suffer from a lack of effort or enthusiasm. They suffer from hidden design flaws, choices made before the first seed goes in the ground. Orientation, livestock placement, and unused grass sound simple, but get even one of them wrong, and the dream of year-round food slips away. Alex's scattershot layout was no exception. By the end of the season, the harvest barely filled a single pantry shelf. Meanwhile, the neighbor next door, with half the space, hauled in baskets of produce week after week. The difference wasn't luck. It was a system that fixed these design traps before they could sink the harvest. Most people never see these flaws until it's too late. But spotting them now is the first step toward a backyard that actually feeds your family, no matter what happens at the grocery store. Long before the word homesteading ever appeared in a blog post, farmers around the world relied on layouts born from necessity and observation. In medieval Europe, ring-shaped farms circled the homestead, placing the most tended crops and animals closest to the kitchen door, and letting less intensive uses radiate outward. This pattern wasn't a matter of fashion, it was survival. In Asia, the triple garden system grouped vegetables, fruit trees, and livestock in tight proximity, forming a living loop of food, fertilizer, and fuel that kept families fed through drought, war, and famine. These ancient designs didn't waste a single foot of land or a single hour of daylight. Dr. Lena Patel, an agricultural historian, explains it this way. What we call permaculture zoning today, those concentric circles of care and yield, are really echoes of what our ancestors perfected centuries ago. Every ring, every path had a reason. The closer you are to the house, the more often you visit, the more food you harvest. Modern permaculture's zones, 0 through 5, draw directly from this legacy. Zone 0 is the home, the heartbeat of the system. Zone 1, kitchen gardens, herbs and greens, picked daily. Zone 2, staple crops and small livestock, close enough for chores, but just far enough to keep the noise and smell at bay. The pattern repeats outward, with trees, wild forage, and water catchment forming the outermost ring. These layouts weren't just about efficiency, they were insurance against hunger. When every step between the kitchen and the field mattered, the land was arranged to save time, energy, and lives. The wisdom is clear. Abundance isn't an accident. It's the result of a system that's been tested for generations and refined to work, even when the world outside feels uncertain. The modern homestead borrows these ancient blueprints, proving that real food security starts with how you shape the land beneath your feet. Sunlight is the engine behind every harvest, but most backyard growers never measure its true power. The difference between a pantry full of winter greens and a row of empty beds often comes down to a few degrees of orientation, an invisible detail that determines whether your soil soaks up every hour of daylight or leaves crops shivering in the shadows. On a 1-acre homestead, every main garden bed, greenhouse, and fruit tree is aligned to true south, with a deliberate 5 to 10 degree tilt along the east-west axis. This isn't guesswork. It's solar math, designed to capture the low-angled winter sun that most gardens miss. The payoff is real. Studies and field tests show up to 20% more yield from cool season crops like kale, carrots, and winter peas when beds are laid out this way. Instead of watching the sun slip behind the trees by mid-afternoon, your beds keep warming, roots keep growing, and harvests keep coming, even when daylight is scarce. This single adjustment, mapping your main production zones to true south, turns sunlight from a limiting factor into your greatest ally. But it only works if every row, every hoop house, every fruit tree is set with intention. Miss this step, and the rest of the system can't deliver what it promises. The second pillar is the nutrient loop, a cycle that transforms waste into abundance. On a 1-acre homestead, food scraps, chicken litter, and autumn leaves don't leave the property. Instead, every bit of manure and organic matter is collected, composted, and returned to the soil. This is not just a tidy habit, it's the engine of fertility. The best growers know that soil is a living bank account, and every deposit matters. When manure is mixed with kitchen waste and aged into compost, it feeds the microbes that unlock nutrients for the next crop. Over the course of a year, this closed loop can raise soil organic matter by 1.5%, enough to turn tired dirt into rich, spongy earth that holds water and grows stronger yields. Farmers have tracked this in real-world trials, watching their test plots climb from barely 2% organic matter to over 3.5% in just 3 seasons. Each cycle of composting cuts the need for outside fertilizer, slashes feed bills, and keeps every calorie working for you, not the landfill. The result is a patch of ground that gets more productive, not less, with every passing year. That's how a backyard becomes a pantry, and a homestead becomes independent. Water is the deal breaker for any homestead that hopes to outlast a dry summer or a broken well pump. On a 1-acre layout, the third pillar is water capture, specifically contour swales that work with the land, not against it. Instead of letting rain rush off the surface and vanish, shallow trenches follow the natural curve of the slope, slowing every drop and feeding it back to the soil. These swales, paired with simple berms, hold runoff for up to 2 days, giving raised beds and food forests a steady soak even when the sky stays clear for weeks. Mike Torres, who runs an off-grid acre in the Midwest, puts it this way: if you're relying on city water, you're one dry spell away from watching your crops wilt. But with swales, you cut irrigation almost in half. I measured it: 45% less water from the hose just by letting the land do the work. His setup isn't fancy. A 3-foot wide trench on the 2% contour, a berm on the downhill side, and a network of pipes feeding overflow to the lowest beds. That's it. No pumps, no panic when the forecast turns hot and dry. The genius of this system is that it breaks the cycle of dependency. When water stays on the acre, the grocery bill shrinks and the risk of crop failure drops. But the swale only works if it sits in the right place, mapped to the contour, sized for the site. Miss this, and the rest of the system can't deliver. With the 3 pillars set, sun, soil, and water, the blueprint is ready for the next step, dividing the acre into zones that keep every resource within reach. Step out the back door, and the first thing you hit is not lawn, not wasted space, but the kitchen garden. Zone 1, the heart of daily harvest. 10 raised beds, each 4 feet wide and 40 feet long, run east to west along the southern edge of the acre, soaking up every bit of sunlight from dawn till dusk. This is where the numbers get real. A single bed, managed right, can yield up to 200 pounds of vegetables in a season. Multiply that by 10, and you're looking at 2,000 pounds. Salad greens, carrots, beets, onions, all within arm's reach of the kitchen. Alex crouches between rows of lettuce, knife in hand, moving fast. The trick isn't just planting more, it's harvesting often. 8 cycles a year, sometimes more, if the rotation is tight and the compost is rich. Leafy greens in spring, root crops by midsummer, legumes to fix nitrogen in the fall. Every inch is planned, every path wide enough for a wheelbarrow, but narrow enough to keep the beds close. This isn't just gardening, it's production. The kitchen garden sits where it does because it's visited daily. No wasted steps, no forgotten corners. Every time Alex grabs a handful of basil or a basket of snap peas, it's one less trip to the store, one more meal grown at home. The kitchen garden sets the pace for the whole acre. High output, high frequency, zero excuses. If you want food security, it starts right here, with the beds you can see from your window. Beyond the kitchen beds lies a zone that rewrites what most people think is possible on a single acre. Here, a perennial food forest rises in layers, dwarf apple and mulberry trees overhead, berry bushes and currant shrubs below, and a living carpet of asparagus and herbs at your feet. This is not a patch of neglected orchard or a scattering of fruit trees. It's a tightly woven system, designed to produce food with almost no outside input year after year. Once established, the numbers speak for themselves. A single mature apple tree can drop 300 pounds of fruit in a season. Mulberries add another 200, and each berry bush, raspberry, gooseberry, black currant, delivers up to 15 pounds, even in a bad year. Multiply that by dozens of bushes, and the harvest stacks up fast. Rain from the swale above soaks the roots, while nitrogen-fixing trees feed the soil from within. The forest is always working, even when nobody's watching. Alex walks the winding path, tasting berries straight from the cane, sweet, tart, and sun-warmed. No tilling, no replanting, just a living engine of calories that keeps producing through drought, heat, or supply chain chaos. This is how a backyard becomes breakfast, lunch, and dinner, free from the grocery store, free from the panic of empty shelves. Protein, pollinators, and water, these are the backbone of a homestead that feeds a family in every season. Tucked along the western edge, the chicken coop and rabbit hutch aren't afterthoughts. They are production engines. 30 hens, rotated through a shaded run, lay over 1,800 eggs a year, enough for breakfast every day and still plenty to share or trade. The rabbit hutch, compact but efficient, produces 120 pounds of meat annually, with manure that's gold for the garden beds. Alex swings open the coop door, collecting eggs still warm from the nest, while the rabbits quietly turn weeds and kitchen scraps into high-protein meals. A few steps further, 5 beehives hum with life. These bees do more than make honey. They boost fruit set by 35% across the food forest and berry rows, turning blossoms into full baskets. Pollinators mean more apples, more berries, and a pantry that doesn't run dry. Nearby, a shallow contour swale cuts across the slope, invisible, until a summer storm fills it with runoff. Each rainfall, the swale holds back 1,200 gallons, soaking the soil and refilling the water table instead of letting precious moisture escape. This is where the system locks together: eggs, meat, honey, and water. Security, all mapped within a few steps of one another. It's not about having more land, it's about using every foot to break free from grocery bills and empty shelves. When the layout works, food independence isn't a dream. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, no matter what happens outside your fence. Alex sits at the kitchen table, laptop open, scrolling through a spreadsheet that changed everything. The numbers don't lie. In the last 12 months, the homestead produced $13,800 worth of food, vegetables, fruit, eggs, honey, and meat, all grown within walking distance of the back door. Grocery receipts, once a source of dread, have shrunk to a trickle. The only trips to the store now are for salt, coffee, and the rare treat. After subtracting every expense, seeds, feed, and a little electricity for the greenhouse, the surplus stands at $2,500. That's not just breaking even. That's money staying in the family account, month after month. For most, the idea of a backyard covering breakfast, lunch, and dinner sounds like fantasy. But with the right layout, the numbers stack up. The spreadsheet isn't just a record, it's proof that food independence isn't a daydream. It's a budget reborn, immune to the shocks of empty shelves and rising prices. The homestead doesn't just feed the family, it frees them. Jenna's acre sits on the edge of a small Midwest town, surrounded by fields that stretch for miles. When she first mapped her layout, neighbors scoffed. 1 acre, feeding 4 people through winter, and turning a profit? But Jenna kept her records. By the end of her second year, her harvest log showed 4,200 pounds of vegetables and 2,800 pounds of fruit, greens, squash, apples, and berries, stacked in crates from July through frost. The rabbit hutch, tucked beside the berry rows, produced 150 pounds of meat, all from kitchen scraps and weeds that would have been thrown away. Grocery receipts told the rest of the story. $10,200 saved over 12 months, with another $1,800 from selling surplus at the Saturday market. Her break-even point came in just over a year, faster than most people pay off a new fridge. What set Jenna's acre apart wasn't luck or perfect weather. It was the same blueprint. Beds aligned for winter sun, compost cycling through every zone, water held in the soil by swales that cut her irrigation in half. The numbers are there: food independence, real savings, and a system that works beyond a single backyard. Jenna's story proves this model isn't a fluke. It's a repeatable path out of grocery store anxiety and into a life where your ground pays you back, season after season. Right now, grocery bills keep climbing and supply chains grow shakier. But a single acre, when every foot is dialed in, breaks that cycle. The difference between abundance and failure comes down to 3 non-negotiable choices. Food independence isn't a fantasy, it's a blueprint with life or death stakes. The question is, will you trust the store or your own backyard? Let me know where you stand in the comments.